Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Monday's Look North. On the programme tonight, a jury is told that a former children's home manager and his assistant used their power to isolate children and abuse them. We'll be live from Bradford Crown Court. Also tonight, safety concerns over potholes and crumbling concrete on the Super Tram network as councillors call for urgent action. More than £14 million is expected to be raised this year from double council tax on second homes in North Yorkshire. And have you got the January blues? Tips on how to lift those spirits from Skipton, named the happiest place to live.
And what a gloomy few days it's been. Seems similar to this right across Yorkshire. It is an unsettled week to come, but at least a bit of brightness to come tomorrow. Join me for that week ahead forecast.
Hello there, it's the first Look North of the week and it's lovely to have your company tonight. The trial has started of a man and woman accused of using their powers to isolate vulnerable children and carry out sexual abuse at a care home in West Yorkshire. 92-year-old Malcolm Phillips was found not fit to attend court and there'll be a trial of the facts in his case, while 66-year-old Linda Brunning faces a full criminal trial. They're accused of sexual offences at Skircote Lodge Children's Home in Halifax dating back to the 1970s. Our Home Affairs correspondent Emma Glasby is at Bradford Crown Court for us this evening. A really distressing case, this one, Emma. What more can you tell us about it?
Well, today, 66-year-old Linda Brunning was in the dock here, but 92-year-old Malcolm Phillips will not now be attending court as the judge has ruled that he is not fit to face a full criminal trial. Instead, there will be a trial of the facts in his case and the jury has to decide whether he did carry out the acts that he is accused of. Now, Malcolm Phillips was the manager of the Skircote Lodge Children's Home from 1976 until 1994. The prosecutor, Michelle Colborne KC, has said that he used his powers to isolate children. Linda Brunning worked alongside him for 16 years as his assistant, and the jury has been told that she took pleasure in physically hurting and humiliating children. Now, the prosecution has said that for almost 2 decades, the sexual abuse of children at Skircote Lodge went unfettered and unreported, arguing that Malcolm Phillips and Linda Brunning managed to avoid detection because no one dared speak out against them.
And what can you tell us about some of the allegations that they face, Emma?
Yes, the trial has heard that the allegations in this case relate to 6 victims, 4 girls and 2 boys in the 1970s, 80s and 90s. These were children who were removed from their parents' care and placed at Skircote Lodge Children's Home for their safety. The prosecution has said that the children were told no one cared for them and no one would believe them if they said anything. We heard that the youngest child alleged to have been sexually abused was 9 years old, that he was a child who missed his mum, but he was told that his mum didn't love him. The jury was told that children were threatened with having family visits taken away from them. The court heard that children often ran away from the home, but they were taken back to the home by police officers and accused of being liars and troublemakers. The court was told that the children realised then that no one would believe them. The trial has heard allegations that children were beaten, they were punished by being deprived of food, and that one boy had described children being taken from their beds in the night. Malcolm Phillips denies charges of rape, indecent assault and indecency with a child. Linda Brunning denies indecent assault and aiding and abetting sexual offences. The trial here is continuing.
Emma, thank you. Next tonight, more than £14 million is expected to be raised this year from people paying double the standard amount of council tax on second homes that they own in North Yorkshire. Now, the money generated will go towards community-led housing projects in the county. But a group of second home owners on the coast are not happy. Our political reporter Richard Edwards can tell us more.
So welcome to our two-bedroom flat in Fisherman's Chapel in Filey.
Rick Bragg's had a home in Filey for 20 years and, like many of us, he's wondering how much extra he'll need to find when North Yorkshire Council sends him next year's council tax bill. For Rick, it's going to be a lot more, as his home in Filey isn't his first, and he's one of thousands of North Yorkshire second homeowners heading into a second year of double council tax bills. Extra money, which the council says will help make headway with the intense pressure on housing stocks.
Why don't the council use that money to buy up these second homes that are for sale and use them to pass on to the people who can't afford? People don't want to live in a two-bedroom ground floor flat with no outside space. You know, you've got the Crescent Gardens, which are all Grade 2 listed buildings. They can't put heating in. They can't put lifts in. People don't want to live like that. They want a garden, they want a space, and they want to bring the kids up.
The North Yorkshire Council vote to introduce the premium, though, was nearly unanimous, and senior councillors say it's here to stay.
It was introduced, or certainly aired some years ago, in response to communities that we're having to deal with that have a proliferation of second homes that's got disastrous effects on those communities in reality. So this is a bit of a stick, if you like, and an incentive to try and turn those homes into full-time residential use.
There's support for the second homeowners from some of Filey's business owners who say the second home trade is crucial through the lean winter months.
The second homeowners, they do support, you know, the businesses around Filey.
Without them, we wouldn't have a high street, we wouldn't have the shops, we wouldn't have the businesses. You know, we need them.
But in a town where it's a challenge for first-time buyers to get started, what do the locals think?
It can kill a community. Look at Robin Hood's Bay. Back in the 80s, I used to go there and it was all fishermen. It was a working village. They'd lay the catch out on the floor like they did here. Now you go there and there's a pad on every door. In winter, it's closed. There's nobody living there anymore.
I think it's horrendous. I do. Even though obviously it'd be an opportunity for us to be able to buy a home, I don't think targeting those that have worked for what they have, I don't think you should penalise those people.
There is a lot of people trying to find things in Filey, and like you say, if they didn't have that second one, it probably would be a bit easier, but then is it fair for them to have to pay double, really?
So with North Yorkshire Council's position on this seemingly settled, the second homeowners face a choice. Are they prepared to pay up, or will they have to sell up? Richard Edwards, BBC Look North, Filey.
You are watching Monday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. We have some tips on how to keep the spirits up on Blue Monday. But before that, let's take a look at some of the stories that are coming into our newsroom today. There have been more charges in relation to a fatal hit-and-run incident in North Yorkshire last July. Bailey Chadwick was 19 when he died after the incident between Glasshouses and Pateley Bridge in the early hours of Sunday the 20th of July. Last month, a 25-year-old man was charged with driving over the limit and driving without insurance. He's now also been charged with failing to stop and failing to report a road traffic collision. He's due to appear in court next month. A kitchen manufactory in Wetherby has gone into administration with the loss of more than 120 jobs. The Moores Furniture Group has been operating for more than 70 years. One of its competitors, Wren, says it's been in talks with the company but was unable to save the business. However, they're looking at providing alternative jobs for staff at the company and have agreed that customers can transfer their contracts to Wren. Right, let's have a look now at some of the stories from around the region that are appearing on the BBC News app. First up, jail for a woman who fled to Barbados with a man who was wanted by police in connection with a shooting in Halifax. Campaigners were in Downing Street as part of their 35-year battle to make a road in South Yorkshire safer. And protecting Yorkshire's woodlands with plans to plant millions of trees over the next 25 years. And you can get more details on those stories and everything else that's appearing on the BBC News app by downloading it onto your phone or your tablet. Now take a look at this. When Sheffield's Super Tram was brought back into public ownership, we were told the network desperately needed investment for things like this. But there are concerns that almost 2 years on, cumbering concrete and huge potholes that haven't been repaired properly are causing a danger to drivers and riders in the city. In fact, one councillor says urgent action is needed before someone dies. Ollie Constable reports.
We do a lot of stories about potholes. As drivers, we know all too well the painful clunk of hitting one in our cars. In Sheffield, though, there's a complicating matter involving trams.
That's the worst bit on here, but further down, it's unreal.
Dennis Law runs the aptly named Tram Track shop in Hillsborough. Outside his shop is this, right alongside the rail.
It's dangerous, isn't it? You can hear them when you go over that manhole there, etc. And it's not very nice to walk on either, to be quite honest. The patchwork quilt, isn't it? You don't really know what you're going to be walking. When you walk across it, you're thinking, is it a pothole or is it a patch?
Unlike a normal road, it's not the City Council that's responsible for filling in the potholes here. Instead, the pale concrete section is looked after by the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority, who also maintain the rails. Dennis's brother Eric also runs a shop on Home Lane, a few doors down.
So this particular hole here has been filled in 3 times within the last few weeks. And they come, they fill it, and then within a matter of a day or so, you're back to seeing what it is now.
And they come down with what, a bag?
Bag of asphalt. They team it out of a bag. They came last time, and it were absolutely frozen solid. And basically they put it in and then he just hit it with a shovel.
The Mayor's office took over running Super Tram almost 2 years ago. Across the city in Hackenthorpe, the roads are in a similar state and residents aren't happy.
The concrete's breaking up and their concern was damage to vehicles, but more importantly, the risk of accidents. And I think people now are fed up of hearing something's going to happen. Well, when? You can see what the state of the track bed is. It can only get worse. The Mayor needs to get out of his office and get on top of this problem.
The Mayor's office told us the recent cold snap meant temporary repairs were made until the weather improves. They said £2.7 million of funding has been used specifically to repair the concrete track slab in the road across 4.5 kilometres of the network. And they said they'll be carrying out more significant investment in the Supertram network this year, including to the track slabs, to improve the system for passengers and other road users. Until then, your journey across the city might be bumpier than normal. Ollie Constable, BBC Look North in Sheffield.
And we will keep across that story and let you know updates. Now, water has many benefits, but did you know that sparkling water in particular could be key to transforming the chemically intensive way that fabric is dyed around the world? Scientists at the University of Leeds have developed a method of colouring polyester using 90% fewer chemicals. That's amazing, isn't it? The sustainable process could be taking up globally if trials are successful. Heidi Tomlinson can tell us more.
Fizzing with potential, creating sparkling water to use in a fabric dye. The colour interacts with carbon dioxide and water to form a solution which could transform the chemically intensive practice of dyeing material.
With that, you can dye polyester using 90% less chemicals than normal dyeing to the same quality.
Years of research at the University of Leeds has culminated in a spin-off company focusing on a more environmentally friendly way to dye polyester.
By removing all of those chemicals, what we can do is reduce the number of rinse cycles in the process. That means less water, means less time, less energy. We can also combine processes, so cleaning processes which happen down the line, we can combine them with the dyeing process, and that reduces the water use by 57%.
So this is a sample jet dyer. So this is a scaled down version of what they use in industry to dye a lot of the world's polyester.
The fizzy water method works in machinery most fabric manufacturers already use, which makes it more attractive to companies like Camira based in Holmfirth. In its textile factory, looms create fabric for hotels, trains, offices and cinemas, to name but a few.
Well, if it changes the way people dye polyester, and it's something because it uses existing equipment, it could potentially gain traction in the industry very quickly.
the global polyester market is over 50% of the textile fibre market. It's about 70 million tonnes annually, so it would be a huge impact.
Soon, industry pilot trials to test the new dye solution will begin, with the hope of revolutionising the way polyester is coloured on a global scale. Heidi Tomlinson, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Gosh, wouldn't that be something? Time for sport now, and look who's back. Oh, it's so nice to see you back. Sally, how are your travels?
Thank you. Well, I've come back on Blue Monday, haven't I? And I'm rather jet-lagged. But nothing revives me more than talking about sport, so let's get into it, shall we? Football. And Leeds secured a crucial 3 points as Luka Mecha came off the bench to score a 91st minute winner to end Fulham's 6-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. The match 8 points clear of the relegation zone.
Yeah, definitely felt amazing. Good points, and I've not had a goal since I got injured, so I'm glad to get back on the score sheet. When we're at home, we look really good. The fans are amazing, to be honest, and they do really push us, so we had that push going for the last goal, and we did it.
In the Championship, Sheffield United had 2 players sent off in the first half. The Blades had been dominant, but in a mad 10 minutes, both Jabril Samare and then captain Japhet Tanganga got red cards. Charlton won 1-0, taking them level with the Blades on 32 points. In League One, Barnsley beat Blackpool 2-1 thanks to a double from veteran striker David McGoldrick, including this, a late winner 3 minutes into added time. And there was also a very late victory for Doncaster 8 minutes into stoppage time, a 1-0 victory over Wimbledon and a precious 3 points for the Rovers, who are still in the relegation zone. And Huddersfield Town have sacked manager Lee Grant after their 3-1 defeat at Burton Albion. Grant was appointed on a 3-year deal in May and tasked with taking the club back into the Championship. They're currently in 6th place in League One. In tennis, an emotional Fran Jones has vowed to pick herself up after the British number 3 saw injury wreck her chances at the Australian Open. Jones, who's from Bradford, was forced to withdraw from her match with a glute problem. She was born with a rare genetic condition that means she's missing some fingers and toes and plays with a modified grip. A sad exit to what was the first time she'd received direct entry into the Australian Open main draw. Now, North Yorkshire's record-breaking adventurer Jasmine Harrison has swum 30 miles around the remote island of St Helena in the South Atlantic Ocean, part-way through her latest sailing challenge. Jasmine battled 25-knot winds to take on the swimming marathon. You can just about see her red float there during a pit stop in a round-the-world sailing event. She's 3/4 of the way through the mini globe race, which she started in December 2024 and is due to finish in March. She made history when she became the youngest female to solo row the Atlantic in 2021. Now, the European Figure Skating Championships, hosted at the Sheffield Arena, have concluded. It was the last major competition before the Winter Olympics begin in Italy next month. And Great Britain's Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson proved they're in contention for an Olympic medal by winning bronze with this routine. The pair are aiming to win Britain's first Olympic figure skating medal since Dame Jane Torvill and Sir Christopher Dean in 1994. Also on Team GB and heading to Milan Cortina is Sheffield's own Luke Digby, who finished in 7th place. Some brilliant performances there. I think you went yesterday, didn't you, Amy?
I did. I went to the gala performance, which closed the whole games, and it was brilliant. Such good fun, yeah. Amazing talents. So, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Thanks, Sal. Good to see you. Go have a rest. Now, for many people, Sally mentioned it before, didn't she? January can be a really difficult month after the festive of Christmas ends and normal life resumes. Well, one man from South Yorkshire is hoping to make a difference and help people who are struggling with their mental health. Chris Sanders struggled himself after leaving the army and found himself on the streets. Now he's offering counselling on a pay-as-you-feel basis in Barnsley. Earlier I spoke to him and began by asking why he wanted to do it.
So during my time studying, my business partner and I, we realised that the cost of counselling was far too high. People are paying £45 to £80 an hour for a session, and in this day and age and this economy, it's just not feasible for a lot of people that need that help. So we came up with the idea of having a base rate and a sliding scale so it fits in with people's budgets.
Many people will go through the NHS for counselling, but as we know, that waiting list is really long, isn't it?
It is. We found that there was 1.4 million people waiting over 18 months for these services, and 515,000 children waiting for the initial appointments. But there's also the wait time between being initially seen and then actually seeing someone privately. And we decided it wasn't good enough. We need to put something in place where we can reduce the time and get the people seen when they need that help.
And Chris, you will know that as well as anyone else because you've been through your own struggles. Just briefly tell us about that and how bad things got for you.
Things got really bad around 2 years after leaving the forces. I had a breakdown and I didn't realise what was happening. I went to see my GP and he diagnosed me with PTSD. For 7 years I went through a vicious cycle of finding work, finding places to sleep, sofa surfing, going back onto the street, and I was just continuously going through this. I actually went through 6 counsellors before I found one that I gelled with, and from that point of seeing that counsellor I realised what my triggers were and what was setting me off and why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and then strategies were then put in place so I could cope with life better and cope with what I was feeling better.
Chris, you're proof that counselling can work. For anyone who can identify with what you're saying, if they don't live in the Barnsley area, what advice have you got for them?
I mean, there are talking therapies online like the crisis help and things like that. If they're feeling the strains of life are getting to them, or their anger issues are starting over little things, there's something that's underlying that they can't really put the finger on, just pick up the phone and phone one of the services.
Chris, thank you, and it's so good to see that you've got your life back on track.
Okay, thank you.
It is cold, it's grey, which is fitting, as today has been dubbed Blue Monday, the most miserable day of the year. So to try and cheer you up, we've been to Skipton. It was recently named the happiest place to live, so what is so great about it? We sent Tom Ingle to find out.
Skipton, Skipton, Skipton. Welcome to Skipton, almost certainly voted as something by somebody at some point in time. Look, don't ask me, I don't have all the details.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be.
Is Skipton a happy place? Let's cut straight to the chase.
We just love it. It just has everything that you could possibly want, really. You can be in the centre of town and it's sort of a bit of a hustle and bustle and there's everything you could need. This time of year, though, all our boats get a fresh lick of paint and get made all nice and shiny, ready for the start of the season. A lot of people come to Skipton as a tourist place, and if you're here on holiday, if you're on holiday, you're happy, aren't you?
Started working here part-time. I left a full-time job to work part-time, but I love it so much I'm now full-time. The staff are friendly, the customers are friendly, and it's just a fantastic place to work. It's lively, it's colourful, there's always a blue sky.
Cheers. There you go. What's the happiest cake you have, do you think?
The one that makes people happier, I would say, is chocolate cake.
Everybody knows everybody. It's not too big, it's not too small.
I always think of these with people, it's the best place to live, they say, and have they lived anywhere else to find out?
So you're a sceptic?
Well, slightly, yeah.
You wouldn't say Skipton is the cure for all the January blues?
No. No. I think a trip abroad probably would be better for that.
An alternative cure? Batter down the door of some New Year's resolutions.
Thank you. It's probably not my scene. There's stuff to do, but not as much, obviously, as your bigger cities. But nice little place, obviously. Very
happy place.
Quaint, I probably say.
So, have we conclusively proved anything? In a word, no. You might argue I've just wasted 2.5 minutes of your life, but I would say, well, we've had a lot of fun on the way, haven't we? And that's the point. Life is a journey, not a destination. Unless that destination is Skipton, of course.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Well, I don't know about you, but that 2 minutes of cheesiness certainly made me happy. That was wonderful, and I want to move to Skipton.
Some great pubs in Skipton. We used to go there when I lived in Keighley. Red Lion, lots of nice beer and
a nice cake as well. A nice cake as well, by the sound of it.
It's a lovely spot, lovely countryside surrounding it as well.
Sign us up. Skipton, here we come.
Let's have a look. We did have some brightness, actually. In fact, Tom messaged me this afternoon to say he'd seen a bit of blue sky in Skipton. There was similarly some sunshine there in Whitby. And this was spotted finally Tyres, Huddersfield. A bit of blue sky to round the afternoon off with. It's been in short supply, and where you've had some breaks, you're quite likely to go into some mist and fog and low cloud. Many of us have been stuck in it all day long and all weekend. Got any pictures? The address is out on your screen, X, Instagram and the Weather Watcher website. So tomorrow does look a little bit better, actually. Still a lot of cloud around, but I think those cloud bases will be higher, better visibilities, and we may even see some blue sky and sunshine developing as we head through the course of the day. But weather front's not far away. More rain to come as we head through the latter stages of Tuesday and further weather fronts. Now notice they don't really tend to get very far eastwards, and we are still at risk from seeing colder air probably next week, maybe temperatures trending down at the weekend, but it does look as though eventually we will at least get some cold easterlies towards the end of January, so it certainly looks quite interesting. Now at the moment we're looking down across the Midlands. Patchy outbreaks of rain are now spreading northwards, so a misty, murky evening and night again with fog not just over the hills at lower levels as well. May well see some breaks returning from the south later, but patchy rain never far away, and we'll see lowest temperatures coming in at 6 or 7 degrees. Tomorrow's high water times then in Scarborough 5:06 at Bridlington at 5:32. So a great start in places. There'll still be a bit of patchy rain in places. That will continue to move northwards, but then I think a bit of an improvement. We'll see cloud breaks developing, and with any luck, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of brightness coming through on Tuesday afternoon. Behind me, that's the rain for tomorrow night, but another positive sign, it is going to be milder than today. Look at that, York, 10 Celsius, that's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Bright start, rain later on Wednesday, overcast Thursday, Friday into the weekend. Look at those temperatures trending down into early next week. That's the forecast.
Blue Monday, terrific Tuesday.
Yeah, could
by
be.
The looks of
I
it.
like that.
Well, it doesn't need to be blue with us on the late shift, does it?
Not at all.
Not for you at home, anyway. That is it from us. Do join me at 10:30 tonight. Bye-bye for now.